Hello everyone, welcome to your full body 20-minute beginner kettlebell workout. In this session, I'm going to be guiding you through the entire workout. In this workout, I will be using a selection of different kettlebells, but you guys use the weight that's right for you. I'm just using these kettlebells to demonstrate these are not actually my working weight. So first off, we have got some deadlifts. So you're going to take hold of your kettlebell, place it in between your feet. Shoulders stay locked in the sockets. It's a hinge movement, so we hinge back at the hips, spine is straight. As soon as your hips stop traveling backwards, your knees are gonna bend, grab hold of the kettlebell. Lats are locked in place, shoulders in the sockets. Exhale, we drive from the heels, we stand up nice and tall with the kettlebell. Inhale as we lower down, keep that kettlebell close in between your feet, and then we press straight back up. Keeping that kettlebell in between the legs. Inhale, lower down, exhale, we lift. Ready? Let's go. Alright guys, next we've got a single arm gorilla rows. This might be a bit lighter than your deadlift weight. Feet widen the hip distance apart. Hinge at the hips, kettlebell starts on the floor. Grab hold of the kettlebell with one hand, keep the shoulder in the socket. We're going to drive that elbow back up, we're picking up the kettlebell, and then we're going to lower back down. So that elbow drives in between your leg and the gap in between your legs. Exhale, drive that elbow up, and you want to be close to the hip crease. Inhale, your forearm is close to that hip crease as you drive that elbow back. Think, lift up with that elbow rather than pull with the hands. Drive that elbow back up. Shoulder stays in the sockets. And think about using that mid-back to drive that kettlebell up off the floor. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Hand can be on your thigh for support. Spine stays straight, chin's tucked in. Last 10 seconds, you've got this, guys. Well done, we're going to swap over to the other side. So take hold of the kettlebell. Shoulder stays in the sockets. Back is flat, we've got a hinge movement, knees are soft. Drive that elbow up. As you can see here, the kettlebell is inside the thighs, hand is by the crease of the hips. Elbow drives up. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Think, drive that elbow up to the sky. Squeeze the shoulder blades using that mid-back to lift that kettlebell up. Shoulders stay pressed into the sockets. So we don't want to be hunching up here. Keep the shoulder in. We make sure that we're pressing the shoulder away from the ears. Inhale, exhale, lift. Again, left hand can be on the thigh for support. You've got this, guys. 20 more seconds. You've got this. After each row, you can take a pause, lock those lats back down, drive that elbow up. Well done, guys. So I'm going to take over hold of a little bit lighter kettlebell, and we're going to go into our windmill. So we rack the kettlebell in the arm like this, keeping it nice and close, and then you're going to press it up to the sky. Whole body is straight, then you're going to turn your toes to a 45-degree angle to the left. Kettlebell is in the right hand. Your left hand is going to slide down the inside of your left thigh. We're going to shoot those hips backwards, hinge at the hips, hinge at the hips. Keep your eyes on that kettlebell. Your left hand is going to slide down the inside of your thigh to the depth that you can go, and then you're going to press straight back up. So hips shift backwards. Soft knees, slide the hand inside of the leg. Go as far as you can go that your hamstrings allow, and then press straight back up. You might have very tight hamstrings, you can't get your hand all the way down to the floor, that's totally fine. Inhale, exhale. Now focus on the abs. Draw the belly in. Keep tensing those abs. Use them to lift back up. Inhale, slide down. Exhale, we lift. Spine stays straight. Good job. We're going to swap it over to the other side. So you're going to turn the toes to the right this time. Kettlebells wrapped. Press it over the shoulders. We hinge those hips back. Keep your gaze on the kettlebell. And you'll notice that my shoulders are stacked one on top of each other at the bottom of the movement. And then exhale and lift straight back up. Inhale. Slide the hand down the inside of the calf. Inside of the leg, sorry. And then press straight back up. Keep your eyes on that kettlebell. Make sure it doesn't wobble. Try and keep it as still as possible. Shoulders stacked, chest is open. Make sure you got that slight soft bend in the knee. We use the abs to lift. Great work, guys. You've got this 15 seconds. Keep going. Two, one. Good work, guys. We've got curl, press, and extend. I'm just going to stay with the lightweight for demonstration. So elbows pinned into the sides. We bicep curl the kettlebell in. We've got an overhand grip like this. So you hold on to each side of that handle. Then from here, we press up over our head, arms by your ears. Keep those elbows pinned into the head. As we lower the kettlebell behind our head, your elbows stay facing up to the sky. You feel a nice stretch on the triceps. In this position, we want to make sure that we've got no arching at the back. Spine is straight, ribs tucked in, abs are on. Lift back up, slowly control down. Lift up. Check in with those abs. Make sure your ribs are not flaring. Glutes are on. Stabilizing that spine. You've got this. Control the movement. Go nice and slow. Use those arms. Try not to use any momentum from the body to lift that kettlebell up. It's all about control. You're doing amazing, guys. Really good. Almost halfway through this workout. So next we've got a sumo deadlift, which is similar to exercise number 1. But this time we're gonna have our feet out nice and wide. Feet turned out into a 45-degree angle, nice wide stance. So it's a hinge movement again. We hinge at the hips as the kettlebell comes towards the floor. Knees are pressed out towards our pinky toes. As you hinge down, your knees will bend. And then the kettlebell comes towards the floor, and then you're gonna drive straight back up. Make sure those knees are turned out to the pinky toe. As you hinge backwards, back is straight, hinge back until your hips stop traveling backwards, and then your knees bend as the kettlebell goes towards the floor. Drive from the heels straight back up. Press those knees out, hinge those hips back. Again, keeping that kettlebell closely in between your legs. So your kettlebell is going directly down, not in front of you. Shoulders are staying in the sockets, hinging backwards, knees turned out. Drive from the heels to stand. Keep pressing those knees out, guys. Great work. We've got some staggered Romanian deadlifts. So another hinge movement, taking hold of a slightly lighter weight than your deadlifts. So left foot is flat on the floor. Right tippy toes step backwards, heel is lifted. This leg is just for support. This is the working leg, the left leg. Hinge the hips back, slight bend in the knee. Keep that kettlebell close to the shin. Hinge, hinge, hinge. As the hips stop traveling backwards, drive straight back up. So press those hips back. Keep that kettlebell in close. Slight bend in the knee joint. As soon as the hips stop traveling backwards, drive from that heel, lift straight back up. So compared to exercise number 1, where there's more a bend in the knee, with the Romanian deadlifts, there's not as much of a bend. Just that softness in the knee joint. Inhale, we hinge. Spine is straight, chin's tucked in, eyes forwards. Keep pressing your shoulder into the socket. Now with the kettlebell, we don't want it going forwards like this. We want to make sure it stays close to your body the whole time. Think press those hips back. Feeling it in the hamstring, drive from the heel, feel it in the glute. Swap sides. Left foot is for support, we're working the right side. Shift those hips backwards. Foot is flat on the floor, evenly distributed, soft knee. Kettlebell is in close to the body the whole time. Shoulders in the sockets. Shift the hips back, back, back. Keep pressing them backwards. Feel a nice stretch in the hamstring. As soon as you stop that movement going backwards, drive from the heel straight back up. So we don't want to be just going down like this, back up like this. We've got intention in the movement. We are thinking about the muscles that we're working. Abs are on, ribs are tucked in, shoulders staying in the sockets the whole time. Got a nice tight grip of that kettlebell. Check in with that left foot, make sure you're not putting too much pressure on it, it's just there for support. Just for balance. You guys are doing amazing. So good. We get to lie down after this one, which is nice. Keep going, 10 seconds. Last 3. We've got some chest work. Good job, guys. Taking hold of my lighter weight. Got some single arm chest press. So rack that weight, lie all the way down. Shoulder blades together. We've got a slight arch at the back so our shoulders stay back in the sockets. Left arm's on the floor, right elbow is out wide. Exhale, we're gonna punch the kettlebell up over the chest. And then that elbow is gonna come down towards the floor, making sure that your wrist is over your elbow. And then you're gonna press straight back up. Elbows out wide. It's gonna come down to the floor. Make sure the kettlebell and the wrist is over that elbow. And then you're gonna press straight back up. Arm is straight, kettlebell's over the chest. Inhale, elbow comes down. Exhale, we press. So making sure those shoulder blades are together. The top back, half of your back is completely flat. You might have a slight arch in your back onto your sit bones, but that's totally fine. Make sure that the ribs are tucked in though, and we are engaging through the core. We're not just letting it go loose. And then squeeze the chest as you lift that kettlebell up. Oh, that was so quick. Next side. Okay, shoulders in their sockets. We got our elbow out wide, with our arm resting down on the side. Punch that dumbbell up to the, I said dumbbell again, kettlebell up to the sky. Elbow coming down to the floor. Exhale, we press. Inhale, lower down. Shoulders in the sockets. Exhale, press. Top of the back is flat, shoulder blades together. Abs are on. Exhale, lift. Inhale, control the elbow. It just taps down to the floor briefly, and then we press straight back up. Think about using the chest muscles to lift that kettlebell up. Great work, guys. You've got this. Final 5 seconds. All right, guys, well done. Go and hold up a bit of a heavier weight because we're going to work our glutes. Okay, feet hip distance apart, knees are bent. From here, kettlebell rests wherever is comfortable in this area, holding on to each side. And then I like to have my forearms resting on my hip bones. From here, we drive from the heels, lift those hips up in your glute bridge. So knees, hips, shoulders are in a straight diagonal line. Tailbone slightly tucked under because we're squeezing the glutes, but it's not an overarch. It's just a tuck under of the pelvis. Abs are on. Inhale, lower the hips down. Exhale, drive from the heels, lift the hips up. Make sure knees are tracking in line with your feet. So you want to be actively pressing those knees out towards the pinky toe. And then press from the heels to lift the hips up. But there's an even weight distribution on your feet. So we're not lifting our toes, we're keeping our toes flat on the floor. And we're thinking about using those glutes as we lift the hips up. And we squeeze at the top. Keep going, guys. Thinking about those glutes the whole time. Nice work. So this time we've got our glute bridge pullovers. So we're gonna hold a glute bridge the whole time, holding onto the kettlebell, arms extended straight. From here, we're gonna let the kettlebell go behind our head, keeping those arms straight, and then we're gonna lift straight back up. So you wanna be holding onto the handles here. Hold on nice and tight. Inhale, we let that kettlebell go over our head, arms stay straight, exhale back over our chest. And we're keeping our hips lifted in that glute bridge the whole time. But if it gets too much at any point, you can lower those hips back down. And if your hips are low, make sure your ribs are tucked in, and we're keeping our back flat to the mat. And then as our kettlebell lowers over our head, your abs are on. We're not flaring those ribs. So you guys pick the option that's right for you. If you want to work your glutes a little bit more, you can hold that glute bridge the whole time. Inhale. And then exhale, we lift. You guys are doing amazing. We only have one more exercise after this, and then you are all done. If you're in your glute bridge, check with those hips, have they lowered down? If so, lift back up. Yes, guys, final exercise. We have got our dead bugs. So lower back down. Make sure our spine is imprinted. Press your back flat towards the ground, ribs tucked in. Lift your knees into a 90-degree position. This is your tabletop position. Your kettlebell stays over your chest, arms extended straight. You're gonna extend one leg out straight, return. Extend the other leg out straight, return. Now for more of a challenge, you extend your kettlebell over your head, extend that leg out straight, return. Extend the kettlebell and extend the single leg at the same time. Choose the option that suits you. You might just go for the leg extensions, or you might want to add in that pullover as well. This whole time, check with the ribs, keeping them tucked in, pulling the belly down, draw your navel towards the floor, making sure we're not arching that back. You guys are doing amazing. Keep going. This is your final exercise. Yes, well done, guys. You guys are all done. Yay. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 20-minute full body beginner kettlebell. I hope you guys enjoyed today's workout, and then I will see you all in our next session together.